Elena Brooks counts the seconds between her son's breaths and realizes she's memorized the rhythm of his heartbreak. Kalian sits beside her on the penthouse sofa, spine straight, hands folded perfectly in his lap like he's posing for a photograph no one will take. He's wearing the navy suit he begged for 3 weeks ago, the one that cost more than Elena's first car, the one he insisted on because successful people wear navy blue. The tie hangs crooked now, yanked loose by anxious fingers that keep finding it, adjusting it, trying to fix something that isn't broken. The award gleams on the coffee table between them. Academic excellence, top achievement, grade 3, Kalian Kang Brooks. Her son's name etched in crystal that catches the light from Manhattan's skyline beyond the floor-to-ceiling windows. He polished it this morning until his reflection smiled back at him, until Elena had to gently take it from his hands and remind him it was already perfect. "What time is it, Mom?" Elena's phone says 9:47 p.m. Her mouth says, "He's just running late, baby." 18 times. She said it 18 times tonight. 18 small lies that taste like battery acid on her tongue, protecting a man who doesn't deserve protection, cushioning disappointment for a child who's learning to expect nothing. Kalian nods, but his eyes stay locked on the elevator doors across the marble foyer, waiting, always waiting. His whole body angled toward those doors like a plant reaching for sunlight that never comes. "Maybe the traffic?" Kalian whispers, more to himself than to her. Or maybe the ceremony ran long at his office. Important meetings sometimes do that. He's 8 years old and already making excuses for his father's absence. 8 years old and fluent in the language of justification, of bending himself into shapes that make neglect look reasonable. Elena pulls him closer, breathing in lavender shampoo and the cologne he sprayed on his neck because he wanted to smell grown up tonight. For his father. Everything for his father. "Did I tell you what Mrs. Chen said?" Kellyan's voice picks up, desperate for distraction. "She said my essay on marine ecosystems was the best she's read in 15 years of teaching. 15 years, Mom. That's older than me twice. I'm so proud of you, sweetheart. Do you think Dad will be proud too?" The question lands like a knife between Elena's ribs, sharp and precise. She holds him tighter, feeling his small body tense with hope she can't afford to crush but can't bring herself to feed. "Of course he will," she lies. "You work so hard for this." Kalian shifts, reaching for the award with careful fingers. He holds it up to the light, watching rainbows scatter across the ceiling. "I practiced my acceptance speech 17 times. I thanked Dad even though he wasn't there. I said he taught me that hard work matters more than talent." Elena's heart cracks clean through. "You said that?" "Yeah, everyone clapped. Mrs. Patterson cried a little." Kalian sets the award back down, adjusting its position 3 times until it sits perfectly centered. "I wanted him to hear it. I wanted him to know I listen even when he's not home." Not home. Such a gentle phrase for a father who exists more as an idea than a presence, who moves through their lives like wind through empty rooms, felt but never held, noticed only in absence. "Mom?" Kellyan's voice drops so low she almost misses it. "Did I do something wrong?" "No, baby, never." "Then why doesn't he come anymore?" The question opens Elena like a wound. She has no answer that won't hurt him more, no truth that won't teach him the cruelest lesson, that sometimes love isn't enough to make people stay, that sometimes children can be perfect and still be forgotten. Kalian picks at the cuff of his suit jacket, pulling a loose thread she'll have to fix later. Jihoon's dad came to his ceremony. He brought flowers and took pictures, and they went to that fancy restaurant after, the one with the chocolate fountain. Jihoon, Han Seoran's perfect, socially brilliant, effortlessly charming son who apparently does everything Kalian doesn't. Elena has heard enough about Jihoon Kim in the past 3 months to write his biography, always delivered through Seoran's perfectly polite smile, always wrapped in concern that slides into criticism so smoothly you barely feel the blade. Jihoon's mom says I'm too quiet at the academy mixers. Maybe if I talked more, Dad would want to come to my things. Kalian's voice fractures. Maybe I'm boring, maybe that's why. Elena grabs his face with both hands, forcing him to look at her. "Listen to me. You are not boring. You are not too quiet. You are perfect exactly as you are, and your father's absence has nothing to do with you." But Kalian is 8, and 8-year-olds believe every abandonment is their fault. Every silence is their failure. Every missing parent is proof they weren't worth staying for. "I could try harder," he whispers. at school, at talking, at being more like Ji-hoon. You are worth more than Ji-hoon could ever be. The words come out fierce, almost violent. Do you understand me? You don't need to be anyone but yourself. Kellyan's eyes fill with tears he refuses to let fall. He's learned that too. How to swallow grief, how to smile through hurt, how to perform okay when everything inside is shattering. At 9:51 p.m., the elevator chimes. Kellyan explodes off the couch so fast he nearly topples the water glass on the table. His entire body goes rigid with desperate hope, hands flying to straighten his tie, smooth his jacket, fix hair that doesn't need fixing, preparing himself, making himself presentable, making himself worthy. The doors slide open. Kang Ya-jun steps into their home like he's entering a hotel lobby, briefcase in hand, phone pressed to his ear, expensive coat buttoned to the throat. He's speaking rapid Korean, something sharp about projections and market penetration, and he doesn't even glance toward the living room where his son stands frozen, hope bleeding across his small face. "Dad!" Kellyan's voice cracks with relief so pure it hurts to hear. Ya-jun holds up one finger without looking. Wait. The universal gesture that has become his primary language with his family. Kellyan stops mid-step, smile faltering like a candle in the wind. Elena rises slowly, every muscle coiling tight. She watches her husband pace near the entrance, still deep in conversation, checking his Rolex, nodding at whatever voice feeds him information through the phone. He shrugs off his coat with mechanical precision, sets down his briefcase with the care he applies to everything except the people who love him. 3 minutes crawl past, then 5. Kellyan sinks back onto the couch, hands folding in his lap again, award forgotten on the table. His shoulders curl inward, spine bending, making himself smaller. Disappearing. He's learned this too, how to shrink, how to take up less space, how to become invisible so disappointment can't find him. Elena watches her son fold into himself and feels rage build in her chest like a living creature, clawing for release. Welcome to Merry Romance Stories. Dive into tales where depth meets emotion, love, struggle, betrayal, and hope unfold in every story. These narratives aren't just to entertain, they make you feel, reflect, and grow. Join us. Experience powerful emotions and discover life lessons that cross cultures and touch the heart. Finally, Ya-jun ends the call. He pockets his phone, runs a hand through his hair, and only then seems to remember he has a family waiting. His eyes land on them with the vague surprise of someone encountering strangers in their own home. "Sorry about that," he says, voice flat. Singapore's in crisis mode. The partnership's hanging by a thread. Elena doesn't move. The ceremony was at 6. It's almost 10. Ya-jun's expression shifts into something that might be regret if you're generous with interpretation. The conference call ran long. I tried to wrap it up, but the time difference makes scheduling impossible and... You promised. Elena's voice doesn't rise. That's what makes it cut. You looked him in the eyes 3 days ago and promised. Kellyan stands abruptly, grabbing his award with both trembling hands. "It's okay, Mom. Dad's really busy, I understand." He walks toward Ya-jun like he's approaching royalty, holding out the crystal plaque like an offering to an indifferent god. "But look, I won. Top of the whole grade. Mrs. Chen said my essay was the best she's ever read. Ever, Dad. In 15 years. Ya-jun takes the award, glances at it the way you'd glance at junk mail, and produces that practiced smile he uses for investors who bore him. "This is wonderful, son. Very impressive." The words are right. The delivery is poison. Kellyan's smile trembles at the edges. "There was a whole ceremony. I had to give a speech in front of everyone. I was so nervous my hands were shaking, but I did it. I thanked you even though you weren't there. I told everyone you taught me that hard work beats talent." Something flickers across Ya-jun's face. Pain, maybe, or recognition, or just indigestion from whatever expensive lunch he didn't come home from. "That's very mature of you," he says, already reaching for his phone again. "You're growing up well. Can I show you my project?" Kellyan's words tumble out faster now, desperate, trying to hold attention that's already drifting. "It's in my room. I built a whole ecosystem model with real water filtration and a food chain demonstration. It took me 6 weeks. I used the engineering books you bought me last Christmas, remember? The ones you said every smart kid should read? Tomorrow, Kellyan." Ya-jun's thumb is already scrolling through emails, eyes on the screen. Well, not on the child in front of him. "I have calls with Tokyo at 5 a.m. We'll talk tomorrow." Tomorrow. The word Kellyan has been fed for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 6 months straight. Tomorrow is like a carrot dangling just out of reach, always moving, never arriving. "You said that yesterday." Kellyanne whispers. And the day before that. Yejun finally looks at his son, actually looks. And Elena sees the moment awareness crashes through his distraction. He sees the navy suit, the crooked tie, the hope dying in real time across his child's face. But instead of fixing it, instead of putting down the phone and being present for 5 goddamn minutes, he does what he always does. He makes it about himself. I'm building something important here, Kellyanne, legacy, security. When you're older, you'll understand. Everything I sacrifice is for this family's future. I don't care about the future! Kellyanne's voice shatters. I just wanted you to come today! The silence that follows could suffocate stars. Yejun's jaw tightens. That dangerous flex Elena knows means his patience is fraying. Don't be dramatic. Missing one ceremony isn't the end of the world. It wasn't one ceremony. Elena steps forward, placing herself between her husband and son, a human shield against careless cruelty. It was his school play in September, his birthday dinner in October where he cried in the bathroom because you called to cancel from the car, parent visiting day in November where he told his teacher you were dead because it was easier than admitting you just didn't care enough to show up. The winter concert last week where he sang a solo and searched the audience for your face until the lights went down. She takes a breath, voice dropping to something deadly calm. This is the 7th event you've missed in 4 months. 7th. I've been counting because someone needs to witness what you're doing to him. Yejun's expression shuts down completely, that mask of professional neutrality sliding into place like armor. I had obligations, unavoidable conflicts. The business doesn't pause for school ceremonies. We are your obligation. Elena's control finally detonates. Your wife and child. We're supposed to be the obligation that trumps everything else. I don't have time for hysterics right now. He moves past her toward his study, and Elena watches her son's face crumble like a sand castle hit by waves. Did I do something wrong? Kellyanne's voice breaks into jagged pieces. Please, Dad, just tell me what I did so I can fix it. I'll be better. I'll be quieter or louder or smarter or whatever you want. Please just tell me what you want me to be. Yejun stops. His back is to them, hand frozen on the study door handle, and for one suspended moment Elena thinks he might turn around. Might choose them for once. Might be the father this child deserves instead of the stranger he's become. He doesn't. You didn't do anything wrong, son. You're fine. Get some sleep. The study door clicks shut with the finality of a coffin closing. Kellyanne stands there, award clutched to his chest, tears streaming down his face in silent rivers, and Elena's heart doesn't just break. It disintegrates into ash. Come here. Baby. She opens her arms and Kellyanne crashes into her, sobbing with the kind of grief that shouldn't exist in an 8-year-old's body, shouldn't be possible in a child who has everything except the one thing that matters. Why doesn't he love me? The question tears out of him between gasping sobs. What's wrong with me? Why am I not good enough? Nothing is wrong with you. Elena holds him so tight she's afraid she'll bruise him, but she can't let go. Can't loosen her grip on the only thing in this house that's still real. Nothing. You are good enough. You are more than enough. You are everything. But Kellyanne doesn't believe her. She feels it in the way he's shaking, the way his small body seems to collapse inward like he's trying to disappear completely, trying to take up so little space that maybe his father won't notice him enough to hurt him anymore. She carries him upstairs. He's getting too big for this, 8 years old and all sharp elbows and long legs, but tonight he curls into her like he's 5 again, like he's small enough to be protected from the world that keeps teaching him he doesn't matter. His bedroom smells like ocean breeze air freshener and the faint chemical tang of model glue from the ecosystem project he's been building for 6 weeks. The project Yejun will never see. Glow-in-the-dark stars cover the ceiling, stars Kellyanne and his father stuck up there 2 years ago on a rare Sunday when Yejun came home early and actually played. Back when he was a father instead of an executive who occasionally remembered he had a child. Elena tucks Kellyanne into bed, pulling the covers up to his chin, smoothing his hair back from his tear-stained face. His eyes are swollen, nose running, breath still hitching with residual sobs. Mom? His voice is so small in the darkness. Are you going to leave too? The question stops her heart cold. What? Like Dad. Are you going to stop coming home? Elena sits on the edge of his bed, taking his small hand in both of hers. I will never leave you. Never. Do you understand me? Whatever happens, wherever we go, we're together, always together. Promise? I promise on every star in this room. I promise on every breath in my body. She kisses his forehead, tasting salt from his tears. Now sleep. Tomorrow will be better. She doesn't know if that's true. She's not even sure she believes in tomorrow anymore. But she says it anyway because mothers lie to protect their children from truths too heavy to carry. Downstairs, she finds Yejun exactly where she knew she would, in his study, surrounded by monitors displaying charts and projections and numbers that apparently matter more than the child crying himself sick 1 floor above. Blue light from the screens makes him look ghostly, unfamiliar, like a stranger wearing her husband's face. Elena doesn't knock. She walks in and closes the door behind her with enough force to rattle the frame. "We need to talk," she says. "Elena, I'm in the middle of— I don't care." She plants herself in front of his desk, blocking his view of the screens. "Your son just spent 20 minutes sobbing into my shoulder, asking what he did wrong to make you stop loving him. So whatever you're in the middle of can wait." Yejun leans back in his leather chair, rubbing his temples with the exhaustion of a man carrying the weight of the world. "I never stopped loving him. That's not fair." "Isn't it?" Elena's voice could cut glass. "Because love requires presence, Yejun, and you're never here. You're physically in this apartment maybe 6 hours a day, and even then you're on your phone, in your head, anywhere but with us. I'm building an empire. You've built it!" Elena slams her hand on his desk hard enough to scatter papers, hard enough to make him flinch. "You did it. You're a CEO. You have wealth and power and respect. You won the game you've been playing since you landed in this country, but somewhere along the way you forgot what you were winning for." He stands, matching her intensity, and she sees something dangerous flash in his eyes. "Don't pretend you don't benefit from everything I've accomplished. This penthouse costs more per month than most people make in a year. Kalian's private academy with its waiting list and legacy families. The security, the opportunities, all of it comes from the work you're demanding I abandon." "I'm not asking you to abandon work." Elena's voice cracks. "I'm asking you to show up for 3 hours. 3 hours for your son's biggest achievement this year. Is that really too much to ask? Is your child worth 1 afternoon of your precious time? The Singapore deal is worth $40 million. If I don't close it by Friday, we lose everything. I don't care about Singapore." The scream rips out of her, feral and raw. "I don't care about 40 million or 400 million or whatever number makes you feel like you've finally proven yourself to all the people who doubted you. Our son needed you tonight, and you chose a phone call. You chose money over your child's heart." Yejun's expression hardens into something cold and unreachable. "You're being hysterical." The word lands like a slap, like a door slamming, like every dismissal she's swallowed for months finally weaponized and thrown in her face. "Hysterical," Elena repeats slowly, tasting the contempt in it. "I advocate for our child's emotional survival, and I'm hysterical. But you prioritize money over family, and that's just business as usual. That's just what successful men do, right? Sacrifice their children on the altar of achievement and call it legacy." "It's not about the money. Then what is it about?" Elena moves closer, searching his face for the man she married, the man who understood loneliness, who knew what it meant to be invisible. "Tell me, Yejun, because I'm trying to understand how the man who cried in my arms about being overlooked and underestimated can turn around and do the exact same thing to his own son." Something flickers in his eyes, pain, recognition, shame. But then his phone buzzes and she watches him glance at it automatically, and she knows she's already lost. "Who is it?" she asks, though she already knows. "Let me guess. Soren?" His jaw tightens. "She's coordinating the Korean partnerships. It's business." "Business." Elena laughs, and it sounds like breaking glass. "Is that what we're calling it? Because funny thing, I helped you coordinate partnerships for 5 years. I rewrote your presentations at 3 a.m. I coached you through cultural differences. I stood beside you at every investor meeting and made sure they saw your vision instead of your accent." She pauses, letting that sink in. "But now Sioran does all that. Sioran gets your time and attention and late-night calls. Sioran gets the version of you that smiles and laughs and actually listens. So tell me, husband, what exactly am I supposed to call that?" "You're twisting this into something it's not." "Am I?" Elena's voice drops to something dangerous. "Then explain to me why you've had dinner with her 5 times in the past 2 weeks, but you couldn't come home early once for your son's ceremony." Explain why her texts get answered in seconds, but Kalian's school calls go to voicemail for days. Those were business dinners, and what are we? The question hangs in the air like smoke. What is your family to you, Yejun? An obligation you fulfill by paying bills? A box you check by providing a roof? Are we just another item on your list of assets to maintain? He doesn't answer fast enough. The silence tells Elena everything she needs to know. She feels something inside her go cold and still and clear, like water freezing into ice. When Sioran left you 8 years ago, you were devastated. You said she abandoned you when you needed her most, when you were struggling to get investors to take you seriously because of your accent and your face and your foreignness. She watches him flinch at the memory. I was the one who stayed. I was the one who believed in you when no one else did, who helped you build everything you have now. I translated you to this country. I made you digestible to people who wanted to dismiss you. Her voice hardens. But the second she came back, polished and connected and powerful, you forgot. Like I was just the placeholder until someone better came along. Like I was training wheels you could discard once you learned to ride. That's not true. But his voice lacks conviction, lacks heat, lacks anything resembling truth. Prove it, Elena says simply. Put down your phone. Walk upstairs. Spend 10 minutes with your son before he falls asleep. Show me I'm wrong about all of this. Yejun looks at his phone, looks at his wife, looks at the study door that leads to the rest of his life. His phone buzzes again. He picks it up. And Elena's last thread of hope snaps clean through. If I stop reminding you to be here, she says softly, how long before you forgot to come home at all? Yejun opens his mouth, closes it. The answer sits between them like a living thing, ugly and undeniable and true. He doesn't know. Or worse, he does know, and the number terrifies him. I love you, he finally says, and it sounds like a defense, like an excuse, like words deployed to win an argument instead of healing a wound. I love both of you. You have to know that. I know you believe that, Elena replies, and her voice is so tired it barely carries across the room. But love without presence is just words, Yejun. And words don't keep our son from crying himself to sleep, wondering why he's not good enough for his father's time. She turns to leave, each step feeling like she's wading through cement, like the air has turned solid around her. Elena, wait! I'm tired. She doesn't look back because if she looks back, she might stay, and staying is killing her son one disappointment at a time. I'm so tired of waiting for you to choose us. Upstairs, she checks on Kylian one more time. He's finally asleep, but his face is blotchy from crying, eyelashes still wet, and his hand is curled around his award like it's a lifeline to a drowning boy. Elena pulls out her laptop and opens the email that's been sitting in her drafts for a week, the one she's opened and closed 17 times without sending. A job offer from a communications firm in Seattle. Better position, better money, better life. 3,000 miles from New York and its penthouses and its ghosts named Han Sioran. Her cursor hovers over the send button. Below, she hears Yejun's study door open, hears his footsteps in the hallway. For one stupid, hopeful moment, her heart lifts. Maybe he's coming upstairs. Maybe he's going to check on Kalian. Maybe he's finally choosing them. The footsteps move toward the kitchen, the clink of a glass, ice cubes rattling, then back to the study, not toward his son's room. Not even close. Elena thinks about Kalian's face tonight, the hope dying by degrees, the confusion in his eyes, the way he apologized for existing, the way he offered to change himself into someone more worthy of his father's time. She thinks about the woman she used to be, the one who believed love could survive anything if you just held on long enough, who thought presence and patience could outlast neglect. That woman is dying too. Elena hits send before she can second-guess herself, before she can find one more reason to stay in a marriage that's become a business transaction she's losing. The email disappears with a soft whoosh that sounds like a door closing on everything she built here, everything she sacrificed, everything she believed about love and family and choosing to stay. Tomorrow she'll start packing. Tonight, she lies in the darkness and stares at the ceiling and wonders exactly when her marriage became a funeral she's been attending one missed moment at a time. In his study, Yejun pours whiskey he won't drink and stares at financial reports he can't focus on through the guilt that's finally starting to breach his carefully constructed walls. His hand keeps drifting to his phone, to Kalian's contact, to the apology he should write. But Sioran's name glows at the top of his messages, demanding attention like everything else in his life that isn't his family. The presentation was flawless. You've never been sharper. Tomorrow we celebrate properly. I'll make reservations. He reads it 3 times. He doesn't text his son at all, and somewhere in the city, Han Seorin is smiling in her perfect apartment, because she knows exactly what she's doing, exactly how this ends. She's winning, and Elena's marriage is the prize. The Seattle job offer sits in Elena's inbox like a bomb with a timer she can't see. She doesn't tell Yejun, not the next morning when he leaves for work before Kalian wakes up, briefcase in hand and apology nowhere in sight. Not the following Tuesday when he misses dinner again, texting that the Tokyo merger needs his immediate attention. And not on Thursday when she finds Kalian sitting in his closet surrounded by his school projects, methodically tearing them into pieces. "Baby, what are you doing?" Elena drops to her knees beside him, hands catching his wrists before he can destroy the marine ecosystem model he spent 6 weeks building. "It doesn't matter." Kalian's voice is flat, empty, terrifying in its lifelessness. He's never going to see it anyway, so why keep it? Elena pulls him into her lap, this boy who's getting too big to hold but still small enough to break. "It matters because you made it, because it's beautiful, because you're brilliant." "Then why doesn't he care?" Kalian looks up at her with eyes too old for his face. "If I'm so brilliant, why doesn't Dad want to know me?" Elena has no answer that won't shatter them both. That night, she opens her laptop and types 3 words into the reply field. "I accept. When?" The response comes in 40 minutes. 2 weeks. We'll cover relocation. Welcome to the team. 2 weeks to dismantle 8 years of marriage. 2 weeks to pack up a life that stopped fitting months ago. 2 weeks to tell her son they're leaving the only home he's ever known. Elena stares at the screen until the words blur, then she closes the laptop and goes to check on Kalian one more time. He's not in his bed. Panic hits her bloodstream like ice water. She checks the bathroom, the playroom, and the kitchen. Finally finds him in Yejun's study, sitting in the massive leather chair that swallows his small frame, staring at the dark monitors. "Kalian, baby, what are you doing in here? Waiting!" His voice echoes in the empty room. "I thought maybe if I sat where Dad sits, I could understand what's so important. What's better than me?" Elena's heart cracks open. She lifts him out of the chair, carries him back to bed, holds him until he falls asleep with tears drying on his cheeks. Then she goes back to the study, opens Yejun's calendar on the desktop computer, and her breath stops. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Kalian's Academy, Father's Legacy Symposium. The event she's been reminding Yejun about for 3 weeks. The event where fathers present their professional achievements and children introduce them to the school community. The event Kalian has been preparing for with the kind of desperate hope that makes Elena want to scream. Yejun's calendar shows the symposium. Right underneath it, in the same time slot, lunch meeting, Seorin, partnership celebration. He knows. He knows about the symposium, knows it matters, and he's choosing lunch with Seorin instead. Elena's hands shake as she opens his email. Finds the thread with Seorin from this afternoon. Tomorrow at 2? Perfect. I've been wanting to show you the new restaurant. Very exclusive. Very private. We have so much to celebrate. Yejun's response. I'll be there. No hesitation, no conflict, just immediate acceptance. Elena reads it 3 times, feeling something inside her turn to stone. She opens a new document and starts typing. The next morning, Elena wakes Kalian early, dresses him in his best suit, the charcoal one with the subtle pinstripes, fixes his tie until it's perfect, smooths his hair with gentle fingers. Today's the symposium, Kalian says quietly, no excitement in his voice, just resignation. Dad's not coming. Is he? Elena kneels in front of him, holding his small face in her hands. I don't know, baby, but I'll be there, front row, and whether he comes or not, you're going to stand up there and be brilliant because that's who you are. I don't want to be brilliant if he won't see it. Then be brilliant for yourself. Be brilliant because you can. Be brilliant because someone needs to show him what he's losing. Something shifts in Kalian's expression. Not hope, exactly. Something harder, more determined. Okay, he whispers. I'll try. At the academy, Elena watches other fathers arrive with their sons. Watches them laugh together, rehearse their presentations, take photos in the marble foyer. Watches Kalian stand alone by the entrance, checking his phone every 30 seconds for a text that won't come. 1:45 p.m., no Yejun. 1:50 p.m. Still nothing. 1:55 p.m. Kalian's hands start shaking. Elena's phone buzzes. A text from Yejun. Singapore crisis. Can't make it. Tell Kellyanne I'm sorry. She stares at the message, then at the reservation confirmation she found in his email this morning. The restaurant Soren chose. The private room. The celebration. He's not handling a crisis. He's choosing her. Elena doesn't respond. Instead, she walks to where Kellyanne stands, puts her hand on his shoulder, and watches his face when he realizes his father isn't coming. Mom? His voice breaks. He's not. No, baby, he's not. The director calls everyone into the auditorium. Elena watches Kellyanne walk to his assigned seat in the third row, watches him sit between two empty chairs while other boys sit flanked by their fathers. The presentations begin. One by one, Ms. fathers stand at the podium talking about their careers while sons beam with pride. The audience applauds. Cameras flash. Love fills the room like perfume. Then it's Kellyanne's turn. He walks to the podium alone, small and brave and breaking, and Elena's heart stops beating. My father is Kang Yejun. Kellyanne begins, voice steady despite the tears she knows he's holding back. He's the CEO of Kang Innovations. He built his company from nothing. He works harder than anyone I know. A pause. The room waits. He was supposed to be here today, but he had something more important. Kellyanne's voice cracks. He always has something more important. Gasps ripple through the audience. Elena sees other parents exchanging glances, sees teachers shifting uncomfortably. I wanted to tell you about his achievements, about how he never gives up, how he sacrifices everything for success. But I realized something. Kellyanne looks directly at Elena, tears streaming now. Success means nothing if you lose your family getting there. My dad taught me that, just not the way he meant to. The silence is deafening. Kellyanne walks off the stage and straight into Elena's arms, sobbing, and she holds him while the symposium continues around them, other fathers presenting, other sons smiling, other families intact. But in the back of the auditorium, someone else is watching. Han Seo-rin stands in the doorway, perfectly dressed, perfectly composed, and when her eyes meet Elena's, she smiles. Not a friendly smile, a victorious one. Elena carries Kellyanne out of the auditorium, past the other families, past the teachers whispering, past the future Yejun just destroyed. In the car, Kellyanne finally speaks. I hate him. Don't say that. Why not? It's true. Kellyanne wipes his eyes with angry hands. He doesn't love us. He loves work. And he loves her. Kellyanne, I see how you look at your phone when she texts him. I see how you go quiet when he mentions her name. I'm 8, Mom, not stupid. His voice rises. He's choosing her over us, so why can't I hate him for it? Because he's your father, Elena wants to say. Because we don't hate family. Because love is complicated. But she's tired of protecting Yejun from the consequences of his choices. You can feel however you feel, she says instead. And I will love you through all of it. They drive home in silence and Elena makes a decision. That evening, she starts packing. Not dramatically, not in anger, just efficiently, methodically. The way she does everything else. Summer clothes first. Books Kellyanne has outgrown. Toys he doesn't play with anymore. Things they can live without while she finds them a new place in Seattle. She's in Kellyanne's closet, sorting through old school projects, when Yejun comes home. Elena? His voice carries up the stairs. Why is there a box of Kellyanne's things by the door? She doesn't answer, just keeps packing. Footsteps on the stairs. Yejun appears in the doorway, still in his suit, expensive cologne mixing with the scent of wine, celebration wine, Soren's wine. What are you doing? He asks. What does it look like? Why are you packing Kellyanne's things? Elena turns to face him, holding a stack of her son's artwork. Because we're leaving. The words land like bullets. Yejun's face goes white. What? I accepted a position in Seattle. We leave in 2 weeks. You didn't even discuss? Discuss? Elena laughs, sharp and bitter. Like you discussed missing your son's symposium today. Like you discussed choosing lunch with Seo-rin over watching Kellyanne present? Yejun's jaw tightens. I had a business emergency. You had a reservation at Le Bernardin. Private room. Celebration champagne. Elena pulls out her phone, shows him the confirmation email she found. Don't lie to me, I'm done being lied to. His expression shifts through emotions too fast to track. Shock, guilt, anger. You went through my email? You went through our son's heart and didn't even notice the damage. I think invasion of privacy is the least of our problems. Elena, listen. No! She sets down the artwork with careful precision. You listen! Kalian stood in front of that entire school today and told them his father had something more important than him. Do you know what that does to a child? Do you have any idea what you're teaching him about his worth? I'm teaching him about responsibility, about sacrifice. You're teaching him that love is conditional, that he has to earn his father's presence, that he's not enough. Elena's voice rises. He came home and told me he hates you, Yejun. Your 8-year-old son said he hates you, and I couldn't even argue because you've given him every reason to feel that way. Yejun flinches like she slapped him. He doesn't mean that. He does. Because you've shown him over and over that he doesn't matter as much as your work, as much as your image, as much as her. Siorin has nothing to do with this. Siorin has everything to do with this. Elena moves closer, fury making her brave. She's been systematically replacing me in every aspect of your life. She coordinates your meetings. She attends your events. She gives you advice. She texts you at midnight. She celebrates your victories while your wife and son eat dinner alone. That's professional. Is it? Elena's voice drops to something dangerous. Then why did she show up at the symposium today? Why was she there, Yejun, watching our son fall apart if this is all just professional? The color drains from his face. Siorin was at the symposium, standing in the back, smiling, like she won something. Elena watches, understanding dawn in his eyes. She's not helping your career. She's dismantling your family. And you're letting her because some part of you still believes you need to prove yourself to the woman who left you when you were nobody. Yejun sinks onto Kalian's bed, head in his hands. You don't understand. Then help me understand. Explain to me why the woman you claim is just a business associate knew about our son's event. Explain why she chose today of all days to meet with you. Explain why she's inserting herself into every corner of our lives. Silence. Elena waits, giving him space to defend himself, to explain, to fight for them. He says nothing. That's what I thought. She turns back to the closet, continues packing. We're leaving in 2 weeks. You can contest it if you want, but given your travel schedule and work commitments, I don't think any judge will question my request for primary custody. You can't take my son from me. I'm not taking him from you. You gave him away all by yourself. Elena's voice cracks. I'm just making it official. Yejun stands, moves toward her, but she steps back. Don't, she says. Don't touch me. Don't try to fix this with words or promises you won't keep. Just don't. Elena, please. I love you. I love Kalian. I know I've made mistakes. Mistakes? She laughs, and it sounds like breaking. Mistakes are forgetting to pick up milk, missing an appointment. What you've done isn't a mistake. It's a choice. You choose work over family. You choose Soren over me. You choose everything except us, every single day. And then you're surprised when we stop waiting for you to choose differently. I can change. Can you? Elena faces him fully. Can you tell me right now that if Singapore called with an emergency, you wouldn't leave? Can you promise me that if Siorin texted you about a critical meeting, you wouldn't go? Can you look me in the eyes and swear that your family finally matters more than your empire? Yejun opens his mouth, closes it, can't make the promise. That's what I thought. Elena whispers. So no, you can't change. Not for us. Maybe for yourself someday, but not in time to save this. She moves past him, carrying a box of Kalian's things, and pauses at the door. For what it's worth, I did love you. I loved the man you were when we met, the one who was scared and determined and real. But that man disappeared somewhere between success and ego, and I don't know how to love the stranger you've become. She leaves him sitting in their son's room, surrounded by evidence of the childhood he missed, and she doesn't look back. Downstairs, she finds Kalian on the couch, pretending to read but really just listening. He looks up when she enters, eyes red from crying. We're leaving, aren't we? Elena sits beside him, pulls him close. Yes, baby. We're going to start over somewhere new, just you and me. What about Dad? Dad will visit when he can, but our life doesn't revolve around him anymore. Kalian nods slowly, processing. Then, Mom, is it bad that I'm not sad? I thought I'd be sad, but I just feel lighter. Elena's heart breaks and mends simultaneously. No, sweetheart, that's not bad. That's called relief. They sit together in the dim living room while Yejun stays upstairs, and for the first time in months, Elena feels like she can breathe. Her phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. I heard you're taking Kalian away. That's very selfish of you. Yejun needs his son. Soren. Elena stares at the message, ice flooding her veins. How does Soren know? How does she already know? She glances up at the ceiling, toward Kalian's room where Yejun sits, and understanding hits like a punch. He called her. The moment Elena left the room, he called Sioran. Not to cancel future meetings, not to set boundaries, to tell her about the separation, to seek comfort. Elena types back with shaking hands. Stay away from my family. This is your only warning. The response is immediate. Your family? From where I'm standing, you're walking away from it. Don't blame me for being there when Yejun needs someone who understands him. Elena blocks the number, but the damage is done. Sioran isn't just dismantling her marriage. She's waiting in the wings to replace her entirely. The academy calls 3 days later. Elena is in the middle of scheduling movers when her phone rings, the school's name flashing across the screen like an accusation. Mrs. Kang, this is Director Patterson. We need to discuss Kaelian's recent behavior. Elena's stomach drops. What happened? He had an incident today with another student, Jihoon Kim. Apparently there was a physical altercation in the courtyard during recess. Jihoon, of course it's Jihoon. Is Kaelian hurt? No, but Jihoon has a bloody nose, and several witnesses say Kaelian initiated the confrontation. Oh, this is very unlike him, Mrs. Kang. We're concerned. Elena closes her laptop, already reaching for her keys. I'll be there in 20 minutes. She finds Kaelian sitting outside the director's office, knees pulled to his chest, knuckles scraped and bleeding. His face is blank, emotionless, and that terrifies her more than tears would. Baby, what happened? Kaelian doesn't look at her. He deserved it. Kaelian Brooks Kang, look at me. Slowly, her son raises his eyes, and what Elena sees there stops her cold. Not shame, not regret, rage, pure, justified, burning rage. He said you were taking me away because you're a bad mother. Kaelian says quietly. He said his mom told him that you're selfish and trying to keep Dad from his work. He said I was ruining Dad's life by being too needy. Every word lands like a blade. So I hit him, Kaelian continues, voice flat. I hit him because he was wrong, and I wanted him to hurt like he hurt me. Elena pulls him into her arms, feeling him shake against her, not with tears, with fury. Director Patterson emerges from her office, sympathy and concern warring on her face. Mrs. Kang, if you'll come in. The meeting is exactly what Elena expects. Concern about Kaelian's emotional state. Questions about family stability, carefully worded inquiries about whether recent changes at home might be affecting his behavior. My son defended himself against bullying, Elena says calmly. What consequences is Jihoon facing for the initial provocation? Well, he didn't initiate the physical violence. No, he just initiated the emotional violence that led to it. He repeated things his mother said, things designed to hurt my son. Are we going to discuss that? Director Patterson shifts uncomfortably. Mrs. Kim is a significant donor to the academy, and I'm done. Elena stands. Kaelian will be transferring schools in 2 weeks anyway. We're relocating to Seattle. The director's eyes widened. Seattle? Mrs. Kang? That's very sudden. No, Director Patterson, it's very overdue. Elena takes Kaelian's hand and walks out of the academy for the last time, past the marble columns and expensive artwork and legacy families who've never had to choose between dignity and belonging. In the car, Kaelian finally cries. I'm sorry, Mom. I know violence is wrong. I know I shouldn't have... Shh. You're human. You have limits. You reached yours. Elena squeezes his hand. But we're going to find better ways to handle this, okay? Better tools, better support. Are we really leaving? We really are. Kaelian nods, wiping his eyes. Then, good. I hate it here anyway. They drive to a diner across town, away from the academy and the penthouse and everything that reminds them of the life they're dismantling. They order pancakes and hot chocolate, and for the first time in months, Elena watches her son smile. Her phone buzzes relentlessly. Texts from Yejun. The academy called. We need to talk. You can't just pull him from school without discussing it. This is exactly the kind of instability that damages children. Elena ignores them all until Kaelian is distracted by the jukebox in the corner. Then she types back. Where were you when your son needed defending? Where were you when he was being bullied by your girlfriend's child? Oh, right. You were at another business dinner with her. Don't lecture me about stability. The response comes fast. She's not my girlfriend. This is business. Elena almost laughs. Almost. Business partners don't show up at school events to watch your son suffer. Business partners don't text you at midnight. Business partners don't coordinate attacks through their children. Wake up, Yejun, she's playing you. 3 dots appear. Disappear. Appear again. Then, we need to talk in person. Tonight. No. Elena, please, I'm trying to fix this. You can't fix what you refuse to acknowledge is broken. I'm done trying to make you see what's right in front of you. She blocks his number before he can respond, then blocks Soren's new number and feels something like freedom. At home, she finds a letter slipped under their apartment door. Expensive cardstock, elegant handwriting, no return address. Dear Elena, I understand you're upset, but please consider Yejun's position. He's building something important, something that will benefit Kaelian's future. Your decision to leave feels impulsive and potentially harmful to your son's stability. I've known Yejun for many years. I understand his needs in ways that perhaps you, coming from a different background, cannot. He requires a partner who supports his ambitions rather than competing with them. I say this with respect. Sometimes the most loving thing a mother can do is step aside and let her child's father thrive. Kaelian deserves a father who isn't torn between family drama and professional obligations. If you truly love them both, you'll reconsider. Warm regards. Soren Elena reads it twice, feeling ice spread through her chest. This isn't a letter. It's a declaration of war. She photographs it, forwards it to her lawyer with a single word. Evidence. Then she burns it in the kitchen sink, watching the expensive paper curl and blacken, watching Soren's words turn to ash. Kaelian appears in the doorway. What are you burning? Garbage, Elena says. Just taking out the garbage. That night, Yejun shows up at their door at midnight. Elena considers not answering, but Kaelian is asleep and she doesn't want a scene, so she opens it. Yejun looks wrecked. Disheveled suit, loosened tie, hair uncombed. You blocked my number. I did. I need to talk to you. It's midnight. I know, I'm sorry, but please. His voice cracks. Please, just listen. Elena should slam the door. Should tell him to come back at a reasonable hour with a lawyer through proper channels. Instead, she steps aside and lets him in. They sit in the living room, careful distance between them, and for a long moment neither speaks. I went to the academy today, Yejun finally says. After you left, I spoke with Director Patterson. And? She told me what Jihoon said, what he claimed his mother told him. Yejun's hands clench. I confronted Soren. Elena's pulse quickens. What did she say? She denied it at first, said Jihoon must have misunderstood, but when I pushed, she... He trails off, jaw working. She what? She said she was trying to help, that Kaelian would be better off with less maternal coddling, that boys his age need structure, not emotion. Yejun looks up. And Elena sees something in his eyes she hasn't seen in months. Clarity. She called you hysterical, said you were making our son weak. Fury floods Elena's system. And what did you say? I told her to never speak about my wife or son again. I told her our professional relationship was over. He pauses. I fired her, Elena. From all the partnerships, all the boards, everything. Elena wants to feel victorious, vindicated. Instead, she feels empty. That doesn't change anything, she says quietly. How can you say that? I chose you. I chose our family. You chose us after months of choosing her. After our son got into a fight. After I'm already leaving. Elena shakes her head. This isn't a choice, Yejun. This is damage control. That's not fair. Fair? Elena stands, pacing. You want to talk about fair? Let's talk about the 6 months Soren has been systematically inserting herself into our lives while you did nothing. Let's talk about every dinner you missed, every event you skipped, every moment you chose work over family because she convinced you that's what successful men do. I know I messed up. No. You don't know. Elena's voice rises. You don't know what it's like to watch your child learn to hate himself because his father won't show up. You don't know what it's like to make excuses for someone who should need no excuses. You don't know what it's like to compete for attention with a woman who deliberately undermines you at every turn. I'm trying to make it right. By firing her? That's not making it right. That's covering your ass. Elena stops pacing, faces him fully. Making it right would have been choosing us 6 months ago. Making it right would have been seeing what she was doing and stopping it immediately. Making it right would have been showing up for your son when he needed you most. Yejun's face crumples. What do you want from me? I'm here. I'm trying. Tell me what to do. I want you to have done this when it would have mattered. I want you to have been the father Kaelian deserved from the beginning. I want... Her voice breaks. I want to trust you again, and I don't know if that's possible. Please don't take him from me. I'm not taking him from you. You can visit. We'll figure out custody, but Yejun, I can't keep waiting for you to become the partner I need. I can't keep hoping you'll change. I have changed. I am changing. Because you got caught. Because I'm leaving. Not because you finally saw what you were doing to us. Elena wipes her eyes. That's the difference. You're reacting, not choosing. Yejun moves toward her, and she lets him pull her into his arms because she's exhausted and heartbroken, and some part of her still loves the man he used to be. I'm sorry, he whispers into her hair. I'm so sorry. I lost my way. I let my insecurities and ambition blind me to what mattered most. I know. Can we try? Can we go to counseling, work on this together? Elena pulls back, looks at his face. The genuine remorse, the fear of losing everything, the desperate hope. I don't know, she says honestly. I don't know if I have anything left to give. Then let me give. Let me try. Let me prove I can be the husband and father you both deserve. Elena's phone buzzes. A text from her Seattle contact. Apartment found, perfect school district. When can you view it? She looks at the message, then at Yejun, and feels the weight of the choice pressing down. 2 weeks, she says finally. You have 2 weeks to show me something real. Not promises, not words, actions. Show up for Kalian. Be present. Prove that firing Sioran wasn't just about protecting your image. I will. I swear I will. And if you fail, if you miss even one thing, if you choose work over family even once, we're gone. No second chances. No negotiations. Yejun nods, desperation clear in his eyes. I won't fail. I promise. Elena wants to believe him, but she's learned that wanting and trusting are two very different things. After he leaves, she sits in the dark living room and stares at her phone for a long time. The Seattle offer blinks at her, bright and certain. The chance to start over, to build a life where she doesn't have to compete, where Kalian doesn't have to wonder if he's enough. But there's also the life they built here. The memories that aren't all poisoned. The possibility, however slim, that Yejun might actually change. Elena doesn't know which future to choose, so she chooses to wait. Just 2 more weeks. 2 weeks to see if the man she married is still buried somewhere inside the stranger he became. 2 weeks to decide if love is worth one more chance, or if walking away is the bravest thing she's ever done. Upstairs, Kalian sleeps, unaware that his future hangs in balance. And across the city, Soren receives a notification that she's been removed from all professional contacts with Kang Innovations. She doesn't cry, doesn't rage. She smiles, because she knows men like Yejun. They always come back. The boxes are stacked by the door when Yejun arrives for day 1 of his 2-week trial. He's early, 6:47 a.m. early, standing in their kitchen with coffee and bagels from Kalian's favorite bakery, wearing jeans instead of his usual suit, looking nervous in a way Elena hasn't seen since their first date. You're here, she says, surprised despite herself. I promised. He sets down the bag, hands shaking slightly. Is Kalian awake? Not yet. Good. I wanted to make him breakfast, like I used to, before everything got complicated. Elena watches him move around their kitchen. Her kitchen now, really. Pulling out pans, cracking eggs, humming softly. It's disorienting, seeing him domestic again, seeing him try. Kalian shuffles in at 7:15. Still in pajamas and freezes when he sees his father at the stove. Dad? Morning, buddy. I made your favorite. Scrambled eggs with cheese and those little sausages you love. Kalian looks at Elena, confusion and hope warring on his face. She nods slightly, and he slides into his chair, cautious as a deer approaching a hunter. They eat breakfast together, actually together. Yejun asks about school, about Kalian's marine biology project, about his friends. He listens. He laughs at Kalian's jokes. He doesn't check his phone once. When Kalian leaves to brush his teeth, Elena confronts the elephant in the room. Your office called twice. I heard your phone vibrating. I know, I'm not answering. Yejun, I cleared my entire schedule for 2 weeks, complete blackout except for absolute emergencies. My assistant has strict instructions. He meets her eyes. I meant what I said, Elena, I'm here. She wants to believe him. God, she wants to. Day 2, Yejun takes Kalian to school. Actually walks him to his classroom, meets his teachers, and stays for morning assembly. Other fathers stare. Kalian glows. Day 3, they go to the aquarium. Kalian drags Yejun from exhibit to exhibit, spouting facts about ecosystems and predator-prey relationships, and Yejun listens like his son is presenting groundbreaking research. Elena watches from a few steps back, photographing the moment. Kalian's animated face, Yejun's genuine smile, the gap between them slowly closing. Day 4, Yejun helps with homework. Gets every math problem wrong the first time. Makes Kalian laugh until milk comes out of his nose. She stays patient through 3 rounds of corrections. Day 5, disaster strikes. Tokyo calls. The merger is collapsing. Investors are pulling out. Yejun's entire empire is threatening to crumble, and he has 48 hours to save it. Elena finds him in the bathroom at 3 a.m., staring at his phone, face gray with stress. "I have to go," he whispers. "Just for 2 days. I can fix this if I'm there in person." "Then you've already failed." Her voice is flat, dead. "Elena, this is the company. Everything I built. If it falls apart, then it falls apart and you'll rebuild. But if you leave now, if you choose business over us one more time, there's no rebuilding this." Yejun looks at his phone, at his wife, at the door to Kalian's room where their son sleeps, finally secure in the belief that his father might actually stay. His hand hovers over the callback button. Elena holds her breath. Yejun sets down the phone. "Tell Tokyo I'm unavailable. Tell them to handle it themselves or it doesn't get handled." His voice breaks. "I'm staying." The company loses $4 million in the merger collapse. Yejun doesn't flinch. He takes Kalian to his soccer game the next morning, cheering from the sidelines while his phone explodes with panicked messages from his board. He makes pancakes for dinner while his assistant begs him to take emergency calls. He reads bedtime stories while his empire bleeds money, and slowly, carefully, Elena's heart begins to thaw. Day 9, she catches him crying in the kitchen after Kalian goes to bed. "What's wrong?" "I missed so much." Yejun wipes his eyes roughly. "He's brilliant and funny and kind, and I didn't know. I've been living with him for 8 years, and I didn't know my own son." Elena sits beside him, not touching, but close. "You know him now. Is it enough? Is 9 days enough to make up for 6 months of neglect?" "I don't know, but it's a start." That night, they talk until dawn. Really talk. About Siorin. About his insecurities. About how success became a drug he couldn't stop chasing. About Elena's loneliness, about Kalian's pain, about the marriage that almost died from 1,000 small abandonments. "I thought providing was the same as loving," Yejun confesses. "My father worked himself to death to give us stability. He was never home, never present, but he provided. I thought that's what fathers did. And now? Now I know presence is the provision that matters most." Day 12, Elena makes a decision. She calls Seattle. I need more time." "How much time?" "I don't know, maybe forever, I'm sorry." She hangs up and finds Yejun building a blanket fort with Kalian in the living room, both of them laughing, both of them covered in cushions and joy. This is what she's been fighting for. Day 14 arrives too fast. Yejun cooks breakfast again, helps Kalian pack his school bag, kisses them both goodbye like it's the most natural thing in the world. At the door, he turns to Elena. "Did I pass? Did I prove I can change?" Elena considers him, this man who sacrificed his empire to make pancakes, who lost millions to attend a soccer game, who finally chose them. "You're getting there," she says softly. "Keep going." Relief breaks across his face like sunrise, but that afternoon everything shatters. Kalian comes home from school with a black eye and split lip, shirt torn, knuckles bleeding. "Baby, what happened?" Elena drops to her knees, examining the damage. "Ji-hoon." Kalian's voice is eerily calm. "He said his mom told him we're not leaving anymore. He said Dad fired her, and now she's going to make sure Dad loses everything. He said it's all our fault." Ice floods Elena's veins. "Soren knows we're staying." "Apparently everyone knows. Ji-hoon said his mom is planning something big." Elena's phone rings, unknown number. She answers. "Hello?" Soren's voice smooth as poison. "Congratulations on your reconciliation. I heard Yejun sacrificed quite a bit for it. 4 million in Tokyo, wasn't it? Plus the Singapore deal he abandoned, the investors he's alienated. Quite the romantic gesture. What do you want?" "I want you to understand something, Elena. Men like Yejun don't change. They adapt temporarily, perform sincerity, then revert to their true nature. He'll disappoint you again, and when he does, I'll be there. Stay away from my family." "Your family?" Soren laughs. "You're adorable. You really think 2 weeks of playing house erases 6 months of reality? You think you've won? I think you're pathetic, clinging to a man who doesn't want you." The line goes silent. Then, "We'll see who's pathetic when this is over. Enjoy your little fantasy while it lasts." She hangs up. Elena stares at her phone, dread pooling in her stomach. Yejun arrives home to find them packing again, not moving boxes, go bags, emergency supplies. What's going on? Elena explains Sioran's call. The threat veiled as a warning, the certainty that something bad is coming. Yejun goes pale. She's escalating. I need to handle this. No, we need to leave. Tonight. Go somewhere she can't find us until we figure out. The doorbell rings. They all freeze. Yejun moves to the door, checks the security camera. A delivery person. Large envelope. He opens it carefully, slides out the contents, and the blood drains from his face. Photos, dozens of them. Yejun and Sioran at restaurants, at his office, at her apartment, time-stamped, dated, arranged to look intimate, compromising, damning. And a note, these go public tomorrow unless you reconsider our partnership. You have 24 hours. She's blackmailing you, Elena whispers. These are fake, manipulated. We were never... It doesn't matter what's true. It matters what people believe. Elena's mind races. If these go public, your company's reputation... I don't care about the company. But she does. She's counting on you to care, to choose protecting your image over protecting us. Yejun looks at the photos, at his terrified son, at his wife who's finally starting to trust him again. He walks to the fireplace and throws them in, watches them burn. Let her publish whatever she wants. I'm not negotiating with terrorists. Elena's phone buzzes. Seattle number. I saw the news about the merger. The offer still stands if you change your mind. Marcus. She deletes it. They spend the night barricaded in their apartment, security upgraded, plans forming. In the morning, they'll go to the police, file harassment charges, expose Sioran's manipulation. In the morning, they'll fight back together. But morning doesn't come fast enough. At 2 a.m., Elena wakes to voices downstairs. Yejun's gone from bed. She creeps to the stairs, heart pounding, and hears him talking to someone. You need to stop this! Now! Soren's voice, live and in person. I need you to remember who helped build what you have, who believed in you when your American wife was just playing translator. Elena is my wife, the mother of my son, and you are nothing. A pause, then. Nothing? I made you, Yejun, and I can destroy you just as easily. Try, I dare you. Footsteps, the front door opening, Soren's silhouette against the hallway light turning back. You'll regret choosing her. Both of you will regret this. She leaves. Yejun locks the door, sets the alarm, and finds Elena on the stairs. How did she get in? She has a key. From when she was coordinating the office renovations. His jaw clenches. I'm changing all the locks tomorrow, getting a restraining order, whatever it takes. They don't sleep. At dawn, Elena makes coffee while Yejun contacts his lawyer. Kalian wanders in, groggy and confused. Why is everyone awake? We're just handling some grown-up stuff, baby. Nothing for you to worry about. But children always know when adults are lying. The day passes in a blur of legal consultations, security upgrades, and mounting paranoia. By evening, they're exhausted. Elena tucks Kellyan into bed early, singing the lullaby her mother used to sing, smoothing his hair until he falls asleep. When she comes downstairs, Yejun is staring out the window at the city lights. I'm sorry, he says without turning. I brought this into our lives. My ego? My unfinished business with her, my inability to see what she was doing. We'll get through it. Will we? Even if we beat the blackmail, even if we get the restraining order, she's proven she won't stop. She'll keep coming, keep threatening, keep trying to destroy what we're rebuilding. Elena joins him at the window. Then we leave, for real this time. New city, new names if we have to. We disappear until she loses interest. Run away? Strategically relocate. She takes his hand. I already turned down Seattle once. I can unturn it down. Yejun looks at their joined hands, then at her face. You'd do that. After everything, you'd still choose this? Choose us? I'm choosing my son, and the man you're becoming, not the man you were. He pulls her close, and for a moment they just breathe together. Then his phone rings. His lawyer. An emergency. Soren didn't wait 24 hours. The photos went live an hour ago, trending on social media, business news picking it up, investors calling for emergency board meetings. We can fight this, the lawyer says. Prove they're manipulated. File defamation suits. Do it. All of it. Yejun's voice is steel. I don't care what it costs. He hangs up and looks at Elena. So much for running away quietly. Then we fight loudly, together. The next morning, they hold a press conference. Yejun, Elena, and their lawyer facing cameras and questions and the court of public opinion. Yejun speaks clearly. The photos circulating are deliberately misleading. Miss Han Sioran and I had a professional relationship that I terminated 3 weeks ago. These images are taken out of context and timed for maximum damage during a vulnerable period for my company. A reporter shouts. Are you denying the affair? I'm stating facts. I have never been unfaithful to my wife. Miss Han has engaged in a targeted harassment campaign because I refuse to continue our professional association. Your wife is here. Mrs. Kang, do you believe your husband? Elena steps forward and the room goes silent. I believe the man standing beside me. I believe the father who spent the last 2 weeks showing up for his son. I believe the husband who's fighting to rebuild what he almost lost. She pauses. And I believe Miss Han is a calculated manipulator who targeted our family and is now facing the consequences of her actions. The reporters erupt with questions, but Elena is done talking. They leave the press conference and drive straight to the police station. File harassment charges, restraining order, evidence of stalking, manipulation, threats. It takes 4 hours. When they finally get home, Kalian is with Elena's sister, safe and unaware of the media storm brewing. Yejun collapses on the couch, head in his hands. This is going to get worse before it gets better. I know. The board might force me out. The company might. Then we'll rebuild. Together. He looks up at her, eyes red. How are you so strong? Because I have to be. For Kalian. For us. She sits beside him. And because I finally believe you're worth fighting for. They sit in the quiet apartment, battle-scarred but standing, and for the first time in months, Elena feels something like hope. But hope is fragile, and Soren is desperate. 2 days later, Elena receives a call from Kalian's school. Mrs. Kang, we need you to come immediately. There's been an incident. Her blood turns to ice. What kind of incident? Kalian collapsed during recess. We've called an ambulance. They're taking him to Presbyterian. Elena doesn't remember the drive to the hospital, doesn't remember Yejun meeting her there, doesn't remember the doctors explaining that Kalian ingested something, that they're running tests, that they need to pump his stomach. She only remembers Kalian's small body on the hospital bed, pale and unconscious, monitors beeping, IV in his arm. What happened? Yejun demands. A doctor answers. We found traces of prescription sedatives in his system. Do either of you take medication he might have accidentally accessed? No. Never. We don't even have... Elena's voice dies. Understanding crashes through both of them simultaneously. The treat Kalian brought home from school yesterday, the cookie wrapped in cellophane with a note, for being brave, a friend. They thought it was from a teacher. Oh my God, Elena whispers. She poisoned our son. The police arrive. Questions, evidence bags, promises of investigation, but Elena doesn't care about justice right now. She only cares that Kalian wakes up. He does, finally, at midnight, groggy and confused but alive. Mom? Dad? They both rush to his bedside, holding him carefully, terrified they'll hurt him, terrified they'll lose him again. We're here, baby, we're both here. I don't feel good. I know, but you're safe now. You're going to be okay. The police find the cookie wrapper. Find Sioran's fingerprints on it. Find the prescription bottle in her apartment matching the sedatives in Kalian's system. They arrest her at dawn. Elena watches the news coverage from Kalian's hospital room, watching Soren being led away in handcuffs, screaming about injustice and conspiracy and false accusations. She tried to kill our son, Yejun says quietly. Because I chose you over her, she tried to kill our child. Elena can't speak, can only hold Kalian tighter. They keep him in the hospital for observation for 3 days. On day 4, they're finally cleared to go home, but home doesn't feel safe anymore. Elena makes arrangements that night, calls Seattle, calls movers, calls her sister to help pack. We're leaving, she tells Yejun. First thing Monday morning. This city, this life, all of it, we're done. He doesn't argue. Well, just nods. I'll come with you, wherever you go. What about the company? I'll sell it, dissolve it, I don't care. Nothing matters except you and Kalian. They spend the weekend packing while Kalian recovers on the couch, still weak, but getting stronger. Sunday night, Elena finally breathes easier. They're leaving in 12 hours, leaving the penthouse and the academy and the memories and the woman who tried to destroy them. They're going to be okay. But at 11 p.m., the doorbell rings. Elena freezes. Who would... I'll get it. Yejun checks the security camera. Empty hallway. He opens the door cautiously. An envelope on the floor. He picks it up and his face goes white. Inside, a single photo of Kalian at the hospital, taken from inside his room, and a note. You can't run from me, I'll always find you. Elena's hands shake as she reads it. She's out? How is she out? Bail, Yejun says grimly. Rich people always make bail. We need to go. Tonight. Right now. They throw essentials into suitcases, wake Kalian, and carry him to the car half asleep. Elena drives while Yejun calls his lawyer, calls the police, and calls everyone who might help. But help feels very far away. They make it to a hotel outside the city, check in under fake names, triple lock the door. Kellyanne sleeps between them and Elena doesn't close her eyes all night. By morning, their lawyer calls with good news. Soren's bail has been revoked. New evidence. She's back in custody. It's over, Yejun says. It's finally over. But Elena doesn't believe in over anymore. They drive to Seattle anyway. 6 days in a car, Kellyanne pointing out every interesting landmark. Yejun navigating, Elena breathing easier with every mile between them and New York. They arrive on a Tuesday, rent a small house in a quiet neighborhood where nobody knows their names or their story. Start over. Kellyanne enrolls in public school, makes friends immediately, comes home smiling. Yejun sells his company to a consortium, walks away with enough money to never work again, and declares himself a stay-at-home dad. Elena takes the consulting position, works from home mostly, building a career that doesn't require sacrificing her family. For 3 months, they heal. Kellyanne stops having nightmares. Yejun learns to cook properly. Elena remembers what it feels like to sleep through the night. They plant a garden, adopt a dog, host game nights. They become the family they should have been all along. But Elena still checks the locks twice before bed, still watches for unfamiliar cars on their street. Still wakes up sometimes, heart pounding, convinced Soren has found them. She's in prison, Yejun reminds her. Attempted murder of a minor. She's not getting out for years. I know. They hold each other in the darkness and pretend they're not still scared. On a Saturday in June, 3 months into their new life, Elena takes Kellyanne to the farmer's market while Yejun stays home to fix a broken fence. They're laughing, buying strawberries, when Elena's phone rings. New York area code. Her stomach drops. Hello? Mrs. Kang, this is Detective Morrison. We met after the incident with your son. Yes, I remember. I'm calling to inform you that Soren Han escaped custody during a transfer yesterday. We're doing everything we can to locate her, but I wanted to warn you to be vigilant. The world tilts. Escaped? How? The details are still under investigation, but given her previous threats, we're recommending you take precautions. Elena hangs up and grabs Kellyanne's hand. We need to go home, now! They practically run to the car. Elena calls Yejun while she drives. No answer. Calls again. Voicemail. Yejun, pick up, please pick up. She's 5 minutes from home when she sees it. A black car parked across the street from their house. Empty. Elena's blood turns to ice. She pulls into the driveway, tells Kellyanne to stay in the car, locks the doors. Mom, what's wrong? Nothing, baby, just stay here. Don't open the door for anyone but me or your dad. She approaches the house cautiously. The front door is ajar. Elena's heart pounds so hard she can hear it in her ears. She pushes the door open. Yejun? No answer. She moves through the house, every nerve on fire. Kitchen empty, living room empty. And then she sees him. Yejun in the backyard, standing very still, facing someone Elena can't see. She moves closer to the window. Soren. Standing 10 feet from Yejun, perfectly composed despite being an escaped convict, holding something in her hand. A gun. Elena's breath stops. She pulls out her phone, dials 911 with shaking fingers. Operator, what's your emergency? There's someone with a gun at my house, 4750 Maple Street. She's threatening my husband. Please hurry. She drops the phone and runs outside. Soren, don't. Both of them turn. Soren's face is eerily calm. Elena, how wonderful. Now we're all here. The police are coming. You need to leave. I'm not going anywhere. Not until we finish this conversation. Soren's aim doesn't waver from Yejun's chest. I've been explaining to your husband what happens to men who make promises they don't keep. I never promised you anything, Yejun says carefully, hands raised. Our relationship was professional. Always professional. Liar. Soren's composure cracks. You looked at me like I was your future. You made me believe I was grateful for your help, that's all. Grateful? She laughs, shrill and unstable. I rebuilt you after I left. I made you into someone people respected, and you threw me away for her? She gestures at Elena with the gun, and Elena's whole body goes cold. For someone who doesn't even understand you? Who tried to change you? She saved me, Yejun says quietly. You left when I needed you. She stayed. Because she's desperate. Because she knew she'd never do better than a successful Korean man willing to tolerate her. Enough! Yejun steps forward, and Soren's finger moves to the trigger. Don't talk about my wife. Don't even look at her. Or what? You'll fire me again? You'll call the police? Sioran's eyes are wild now. I have nothing left to lose, Yejun. You took everything. My reputation, my career, my freedom. So now I'm taking something from you. She swings the gun toward Elena. No! Yejun lunges. Everything happens in slow motion and too fast simultaneously. The gun fires. Yejun crashes into Elena, tackling her to the ground. Pain explodes